Holy fag, Batman. What is going on? Life is crazy. I thought I would do a live stream on FEG today. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Anyone else here in chat that's been watching FEG and wondering what the heck is going on? We're going to be talking about that today on the live stream. And queue up questions. You're welcome to pop them in chat. Chances are I'll forget them until the end, but I'm going to save some time to answer questions on FEG, on Pi, Chia. Going to also chat. Let me do a quick promo as well. There's a new token I'm going to be covering later today or tomorrow called Secret. Secret is super cool. I am really interested. I've got some friends that are in the project. So I've been talking to them a bunch about it, and really, really cool. So we'll be talking about Secret token, who Enigma is, why it's a super cool token as well, coming up later, either today or tomorrow, depending on what my schedule allows. So just stay tuned for that. Now, before we talk about FEG, quick notice I need to put out there. DYOR. These burn tokens are not for everybody. In fact, I will say they're not for most people. See, burn tokens many of them are rug pulls. Many of them are complete scams. It's very difficult to detect a good one from a not so good one. I am not endorsing any of these. I am not saying that you should get in them. In fact, to go so far as to say I don't want to be known as a moon pumper, I'm not even going to talk to you about gains, like my personal gains on it or losses. Although anyone that's invested in FEG so far, unless it's really recently, has seen tremendous gains. So we're not going to talk about gains today. It's not about being pumping. It's just about, I want to cover, first of all, it's a super cool token. And I want to talk about what's been happening recently and why I think some of the things have been happening. But I'm not going to talk about gains. I'm not going to do that stuff. So just know, do your own research. Only invest what you're willing to lose. This goes with all tokens that you get into or all crypto projects that you get into. Just be aware of those things, right? This is a highly speculative game. It's very risky. I'm not your financial advisor, all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, checking in here. I've got the chat open. I want to know where you guys are coming in from. I see one person from Nigeria. That is super awesome. Hey there, my Nigerian friend. Hope you're doing awesome. And the Wolf Slayer is right. Definitely read white papers. Don't just take a YouTuber's advice, right? Like this, I'm not, first of all, not giving financial advice, right? I'm not your financial advisor. I'm talking about what interests me. My YouTube channel is my conduit to the world by which I just share the things I love and that I'm super interested in. So just know that. Always do your research, read white papers, and make your own educated decisions. So some people checking from Kashmir. That's awesome. From India. Hey there. Someone from the UK. That is super cool as well. So let me know what you guys are checking in. Croatia, Pakistan. Wow. You guys are like truly all over the world. Kentucky. That's my old stomping grounds. That is super, super cool. So here's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to jump into what's been going on in the FEG world. So a lot of these burn tokens are not for the faint of heart. Excuse me, there's a problem going live stream. Sometimes I cough here and I can't cut that out. So they're not for the faint of heart. I remember when I first, man, something's going on here. I remember when I first invested in FEG, I immediately saw my gains just nosedive. And that was not such a great thing. That was a struggle for anybody who gets in it to wonder. And if you've been paying attention the past day, it's been mooning. It's been completely rocketing up. And you just have to wonder, is this whole thing like a fraud? Is this thing a scam? Like, what is going on with this? Well, there's some key indicators that make me really like FEG more than a lot of the others. And by the way, I'm not being paid to do this. I'm not being sponsored by FEG. I've never taken a single token from anybody. I'm covering FEG because I'm interested. If you go back and watch my original FEG video, one of the things that really interested me on it was, while it's speculative, it also is jumping into some things I think are cool, like the FEG exchange, the swap, the liquidity pools that are coming out, the ability to trade on both on the ETH side, which is a disaster because of the high fees right now, or the BNB side. And I think those things are really, really cool. I think the mechanics happening behind FEG, the community is strong, all of those things. So I think those are things that bode well for FEG. But I've been talking to a bunch of people lately that want to get into it, and it's like super hard for them. And I understand that. They're like, how the heck do I do this? Like, what is MetaMask? And how do I buy BNB? Or do I need to buy ETH? And where do I find the contract to get this thing going? And how do I track it? It's definitely not for the faint of heart. And it's definitely not for the easy users. And this is how we know in a lot of crypto projects we're in early on something when it's not easy to use. Let me make an analogy for you. I remember when the internet was first coming out, at least for me, when it was like commercialized coming out in the mid 90s. And I remember connecting in, you had to have a modem, which most computers didn't have. So you had to know how to even like install your own modem. I remember it wasn't like connecting to the internet today where you just, or even back then you would like pop in an AOL CD. Anyone remember those? No, it wasn't like that. It was very much like running like terminal commands and PPP commands to get a dial up just to connect to like a BBS, a bulletin board. And it was really difficult. And if you talk to people back then, they'd be like, the internet's, what's the point of the internet? Like it doesn't do anything. Well, that's where we're at with a lot of really all crypto, and specifically, burn tokens themselves. It's like very, very difficult to get into. And that makes it a challenge for people. If you're not super like technically savvy, if you're new to crypto and you're watching these gains just blow up and you want in on it, that makes it really, really hard to get into. So just know that, right? Just know that FEG is not for everybody and it's not for you. That is super, super okay. So what I want to do is I want to talk about some of, Gopher. I see that, Tim. I don't know if you guys remember Gopher or some of the early internet tech that's out there. Thanks for bringing that one to mind. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen and I want to talk about some of the things that have been going on lately with FEG that are triggers of some of the gains and what's going on in this world, and also know that we're in the middle of a correction coming back down. How far down will it go? Well, who knows, right? But some things I wanted to cover. So first of all, this comes from Reddit's own the official. So there's two like FEG channels you can follow, subreddits. One's just FEG token, and my understanding is that one is the mods have kind of left that one alone. And so there's a new one, FEG token official. You'll see some more authenticated posts coming out from the FEG team. And so this is one right here where they're talking about FEG being listed on a centralized exchange. So for you newbies, if you ever see somebody refer to DEX or CEX, a DEX is a distributed exchange. So think of that as like Uniswap, Pancake, a lot of those that are out there. A centralized exchange is one, the original exchanges, those like from the old school days of Mt. Gox and Cryptsy that all went defunct, to active ones today like Gemini, Coinbase, Voyager, Hotbit, Gate.io, on and on and on and on and on. So they're talking about news regarding a CEX listing, and that is true. And I'm going to show you this today, and that has some, I think, relevance for sure of what's going on with all of the pumping for sure. So let's talk about this. So they're talking about the CEX that's just now coming out. They're talking about why that's important. But the one thing that they'll say is it's against their will. And that might come as a shock to you. Like, why would you not want this to go on to a centralized exchange? Most people would view that and say that's a good thing for the token itself. Anytime a token is listed on major exchanges, you see prices go up. We're used to that kind of thing. But here's why I think they're talking about that. They mention some things with centralized exchanges. You don't have control of what you're buying. They give some of the lists here, obviously not safe from hackers. If you haven't seen my rise and fall of Mt. Gox video, just search for that on my channel. I cover what happened with Mt. Gox, how the whole thing just completely blew up the Bitcoin market and destroyed it. We saw a huge nosedive once the huge hack happened. And we've seen rinse repeat, many exchanges go through the same thing. So they're right on that. Also, you're going to see volatility that's in there. You don't control your wallet. They talk about a lot of the things that are negatives, but I want to talk about some of the positives of a centralized exchange as well. So remember what I just said? A lot of these are not for everybody. They're just not. It's very difficult for the common person to go buy FEG. If you don't believe me, just go tell a friend, say, hey, here's $100 or $50 or whatever it is, go buy some FEG and watch them struggle and send you 1,000 texts of trying to figure this thing out. It's not easy. So the good thing about centralized exchanges is it extends it as a medium for everybody to buy. Good exchanges, we all know, you just pop it up on your app, you go to the exchange, you buy what you want, and off you move. Like, it's much easier. And so that capability is what the common person desires. And so that's where centralized exchanges are good. But keep in mind, there are risks to centralized exchanges. And I think we all know that, right? There's price volatility. You don't own the tokens for sure. The fees are higher buying from centralized when you measure the whole thing out. It's just difficult. So just wanted to throw this out there and let you know. And check this Reddit post out. You can see it right here. Just go to FEG Token Official and just type in news regarding CEX listing, or hopefully it'll be a hot post for you. You can find it pretty easily. So that's really good. Now, if we look at what's been happening, I want to show this to you. So here's CoinGecko, and I love CoinGecko. I'm always checking this out for new cryptos that are coming out. I'm looking at it for things that are interesting to me. And a few things stand out. One, look at this. FEG has now hit rank number 98. FEG is now a top 100 token. On what metric? Just usage. And that's awesome. Like, that's a really good thing for the FEG token itself. We know that there's a lot of growth. Everybody's looking at it. And that's a big deal. We can scroll down and see, yes, I voted good on this. I'm a fan of FEG, right? Obviously. But if you look at the growth, like past 1 hour, we've seen a pretty big correction, minus 21%. That's welcome to the world of crypto. But you look at like the past 30 days, 3,000%. And you just got to ask yourself, like, in my channel, I'm not a moon pumper. I'm not going to do price speculation. I'm not going to answer questions like, do I think that this is going to make you the next moon Lambo millionaire? I'm not answering questions like that. That's not what I do in my channel. I like covering the things that interest me. FEG interests me. So 3,000% or more, what's driving that? Well, I think there's a lot of things that are driving that. I think there's a huge community following with FEG. That's good. I think there's a lot of interest in it. I think that some of the technology on the back end, like I mentioned, FEG Exchange and all the swap stuff that exists, the fact that FEG is becoming almost a bridge between new tokens that are coming out, like Richie and others that are in it, that's really, really cool. So the direction, the technology innovation behind it is driving it as well. So that's pretty big. You've been probably watching this and just being like, what is going on? I mean, we've now hit a 1 billion market cap. You see this here. So regardless of whether you like FEG, you dislike FEG, you think it's going to go to the moon, it's a flat, or if you think it's a flash in the pan, you think it's going to blow up and then completely fall apart. Whoa, the data there is pretty astounding, to say the least. One question that just came in. So I am looking at the questions. I'm going to hold most questions to the end of the live stream, but if one comes in I think is relevant, I'll answer it. So this one just came in from Listen Carefully. Is Hotbit able to be used in the USA? We have some weird laws that don't allow us newbies to use. Yeah, so Hotbit is an example of this. So you can sort of kind of use it. If you look at my Chia video, I covered some of that. If you have US dollar token already purchased to move into Hotbase, or Hotbit, sorry, you can certainly use it. But to actually like transact and use fiat to buy something through Hotbit, no, you cannot in the US. And that's a challenge. I had a lot of people ask me with Chia, how do I get a hold of Chia in the US? All these exchanges that are offering it, they don't work for US citizens. Correct. This is why it's always good to have some amount of storage of US dollar stablecoin so that you can move it to exchanges if you want to transact on something that interests you. So that's a big reason it's nice to have that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so and by the way, we've also seen in the news, so because this is hit, one thing that sometimes correlates with all of this is denial of service attack. So if you went to feg.exchange recently, noticed it was down, they were under a denial of service attack. These are the kinds of things that happen when you see huge movement, huge news, lots of growth in a project. You typically see a focus in all of that. So next thing I wanted to show you is they're being true to their word. So one key component to pretty much every burn token that's out there, whether it's a legit one or it's a rug pull scam, is some amount of donation to somebody else. And you know that FEG token gives theirs to the Guerrilla Alliance. I forget the actual name of them, but this is the actual token right here. We can see it. We know they published it, and it's currently sitting at about 73K. So good for them. I don't know what that 73K will be used for, but I love seeing charity involved. And we know who FEG has produced theirs for, is the Guerrilla Alliance, for maintaining the protection of guerrillas, which is awesome, right? So just know they're holding true. I just thought I'd throw that out there. So let's talk about the CEX, the centralized exchange that is now publishing and listing FEG. Here you are right here. This is the original announcement. This is from gate.io. You can see that this was their original post for it when they said, hey, we are going to transact this at 4 UTC time on May 12th, which is today. So this is freshly listed. And here's all the information for it. And you should know all of this. So you're a FEG user, you should know all of this. But this is a huge driver of attention. People are like, finally, I as a commenter can get in on FEG. I've been wanting to buy FEG, but I don't know how to do all that mumbo jumbo stuff of like, getting a BNB and transferring to BSC and getting on Pancake Swap and figuring out MetaMask and all that stuff that's like really difficult for us. So there you have it. It is now listed in Gate.io. Just expect fees to be really high. It's not just the burn mechanics and burn token fees. It's going to be expensive because you're going through a CEX. I saw one Reddit post, and I haven't authenticated this, so I'll just throw it out there. One Reddit user was saying, hey, to like sell my FEG on Gate.io is like a 22% or so fee on top. And so again, welcome to this world of centralized exchanges. Here's some more information on it. You can see right here, Gate.io/coininfo/FEG. So you can see the information they're sharing on this. Again, should be all normal things that you're used to seeing. And then if you want to look here right on Gate.io's public site, at least as of the time of this live stream, you can see a couple things that are interesting. Do you see what I see? First of all, Gate.io has clearly made a decision to get into the burn tokens, for better or for worse. Like I said at the beginning, if you go back to this right here, the mods of FEG are not a super big fan of centralized exchanges. They list the reasons. I respect those reasons. They've got a lot of good arguments to make. But you don't sometimes have control when an exchange says we want to list one. And so notice they've got the SHIB token that's of a lot of news of late. We see FEG, Akita, PIG. You see SafeMars. There's probably more that are available on there. So you can see that Gate.io said, look, these burn tokens, these deflationary tokens, we're going to start listing them. We want in on the action. We want in on the profits, and we want to extend it to our larger user base. That's what's going on in this world. Notice that all of these are kind of nosediving over 24 hours, except for FEG that's really blown up. And again, we talked about that a little bit. I don't want to talk price speculation on my channel. It's just not what I do. But you can see that this thing has really, really, really blown up with FEG in particular. So there's going to be attention to that, right? I mean, everybody wants in on action, right? Everyone wants to get out of non-performing assets, whether it's crypto or stocks or whatever. Everyone wants to get into what's doing well, like Tesla or FEG. That's just the nature of the world. So when you see something like that blowing up, you see a lot of interest going into it. And I'm not surprised to see Gate.io. I'm also not surprised to see more attention into other things like just people wanting to get into. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm also sorry, losing my train of thought. Something came in here. Also not surprised to see more exchanges start to list some of these burn tokens. And this is the way of things. You'll typically see the smaller exchanges that are getting market traction. They're going to open new unheard of cryptos, and then eventually you'll see more and more and more begin to use them or list them as well. So I think like Coinbase or Gemini is getting ready to list FEG. Oh goodness, no, right? No. But you may begin to see additionals, not just Gate.io, but some others begin to Hotbit, maybe even Voyager one day begin to list them. So it's just the nature of the world. So there you have it. Really big news in the FEG world. It's interesting to see what's going on with it. It's also interesting to see that those that put in money at any point in the past few days or months have made all-time highs, insane gains out of it. But let me come back and reiterate this. For those of you that are new to my stream or have not really, I've not shared a ton with you, that you're new to me, I am not recommending FEG. It's do your own research and evaluate for yourself. I'm glad to see it blow up. That's a lot of fun. You should never put more into a token than you're willing to lose. So you need to be thinking, what happens if FEG or anything else I invest in completely nosedives and I lose my investment altogether? Those things can happen. And so you just need to operate under those assumptions. It's my job to say that as an influencer. I don't want to be the kind of person that pumps it into the stratosphere, the whole thing blows up, and then you come back to me and be like, you told me this thing was going to a million X, and I put a second home mortgage on this token and it failed. I don't want that to happen. So I'm not saying those things to you. I'm saying do your own research and understand this is a speculative world and go for the ones that interest you, like I do with FEG and many others, and stay out of the ones that don't, and never put in more than you're willing to lose. That's the way that we do this safely in the world of crypto. I think that's really what we want to do. So I'm going to pause, and we got some questions coming in, and I want you to list them. So if you got things you want to know that I can answer, pop them in and I'll answer what I'm comfortable answering. If it's something I know about, I'll answer. If it's something I don't, I'll tell you. But let me know what your questions are. I want to spend a few minutes towards the end of this live stream just talking about questions and chatting with you guys, my community, because you guys mean a ton to me. So here's one question. How do you cash out FEG from MetaMask? It depends on where you bought it from. I theoretically, if you've got Gate.io and you've got the ability to trade in it, you could do it there. But also, if you bought through Uniswap, you're going to need to sell it through Uniswap. My understanding, I've not tried to sell any of mine yet, though. When you bring MetaMask up, there's a swap option inside of MetaMask. I don't think it works there. I think you actually have to go to Uniswap, connect your wallet, and then use the version 2 router stuff. I think that's how it works. So I haven't covered selling. I haven't tried to sell. At some point, I may make a video on how to sell it as well, because people are going to want to know that. And obviously, with as much as it's blown up, you may have interest in that. So there you go. That's what I know about all of that. Current value of FEG. No, FEG is not up to 1 cent, my friend. I am Bush. I wish that it was up to 1 cent. We're still super far away. I showed it on CoinGecko. If you go to CoinGecko and look on FEG, you'll see, in fact, I'm not going to share my screen back out, but it is a whole lot of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros followed by a 2. So we are a very long way, and it may never get to 1 cent. That'd be super cool if it does. But just know, and maybe it may take years for that, right? Maybe it is realistic over years, but no, we're not anywhere close to 1 cent, unfortunately. Okay, how to cash out from FEG Trust Wallet. So very similar to what I just mentioned, right? Trust Wallet is a good wallet to hold, but you're going to have to do it through an exchange. You should be able to, if you bought through Pancake through Trust Wallet, you should be able to do the same thing and sell through that. But it's very similar to what I just mentioned. You're gonna have to sell through Uniswap, Pancake, wherever you bought it from, according to the token. So there you have it. Okay, cool. What other questions do you guys have for me? Let me know things that you're itching to know. Someone asked me about Eclipse token. I have not looked at Eclipse token, so no feedback for you on that one. So I can't give an answer there. OK Exchange is doing a vote out of 5 tokens, and one of them is FEG. That's super cool. So Mert, thank you for letting me know that. If you guys are interested, go check that out and go vote for it. If you're a FEG believer, put your voting where your mouth is and go vote for that guy and see if they'll list it. So there you go. What other? Okay, so here's a good question that just came in. What's the purpose of FEG token? Really good question. So there's a couple things to all of this. To some degree, these burn tokens are the voice of the people. And that's literally what their value is. I don't know if you guys saw the announcement when some of the exchanges began to list Dogecoin, and one of the exchanges had some good comments. So like, look, yeah, it's a meme token. Yeah, it's a joke from the beginning, but the power of the people speaks. And if people want to buy it, they want to buy it. We can't control demand. Like, they want to buy it, they want to buy it. So we're listing it. That's somewhat similar to a lot of these burn tokens. They try to do things like charity involvement. I think that's awesome, right? But at the end of the day, it's a lot of these don't have like direct utility. It's not like something like, Ethereum, we're building apps on top of it and the utility of a dApp ecosystem. It's not like some of the other cryptos I cover, like Chia, and the idea behind it is using proof of space that we all have to try to normalize this environment and give people the ability to get back into like earning crypto through farming. It doesn't have a ton of utility in those regards. It's definitely it's this meme world, right? However, one maybe caveat to that with FEG is it is serving as a bridge to other tokens. And you see that when you go to feg.exchange and you see the ability for it to allow you to trade and swap between like FEG ETH and FETH, and you have the ability to trade other tokens inside of it. I love the direction of where it's going. So this is what's the utility? It's speculative, it's fun, it's the power of the people. It's definitely got a lot of the Doge or the, in the stock world, the game stonk approach to some of it, of the fun. So just keep in mind, it's definitely different than Bitcoin. It's not for everybody for sure. So there you are. Okay, what else do you guys want to know? What do I know about the Shiba Inu coin? So I just showed it on Gate.io. It is listed as one of the top new tokens. I don't own any of it. It's one of those I just haven't had interest in personally. It's a lot. Keep in mind, there's a ton of burn tokens that are out there. Most of them are never going to go anywhere. That's the reality, because it's simple to create these. The barrier of entry to create a meme token is very, very, very small. You just copy the contract from another one, paste it in, make a couple adjustments, and then start marketing it, and boom, you have a meme token. So that's why there's so many of them. That's why most of them are never going to go anywhere. They won't be successful. And I'm not saying that about Shiba. It's just not for me. I've just not gotten into it. So that's what I think about it. And I'm not telling you to get into it or not to get into it for that reason. Any new tokens that I recommend? So here's the deal. When we're talking, it depends on what kind of tokens you're talking about, my friend Dubum. I'm just saying, I don't know if that's pronouncing your name right. Obviously do your own research. You need to have your own key criteria of things that you look for to decide, is this thing going to be successful or not successful? Like that's just important. The other thing about these kinds of tokens is, from a recommendation perspective, is I don't typically get into those. I will recommend ones. I'll tell you if I recommend it on my channel, and I'll give you reasons why it interests me. And that's typically the way I go. I look for tokens that, for some reason, maybe it's the technology innovation behind it, maybe it is the market behind it, the market mechanics, maybe it's the founders and the funding behind it. There are different reasons different tokens will attract me, and those are the reasons that I'll sometimes pick them up. Bonfire token, I'm aware of. I've not invested in it at all. I've seen it come across my channels a few times. Same with Pause. I don't know much about that one either. Neither of those are for me. Maybe I'll visit those at some point, but not for me. All right, guys, I've got time for maybe another question or two, and then I've got to drop off. I'm late for another meeting. It's the life of being a software founder. I have to juggle a lot of things and can't just do YouTube all day, every day, which would be a ton of fun. But this has been super fun to chat with you guys. I'm interested in the FEG journey, really interested to see where this whole thing goes. Maybe the whole thing will completely crater and we'll lose everything. Maybe it'll continue to go up. Maybe it will normalize here. I don't know. Nobody knows, but it's a lot of fun to watch all of this. ICP. Okay, there's the one I'm going to answer. ICP is really cool. I've been talking with some friends about it. I know it just had some major exchange listings and kind of went